Welcome to our discussion on U.S. housing market predictions. This housing market has seen significant changes over the past few years. The fluctuations in housing density, supply and demand, and government policies all play significant roles in the market's predictability. The U.S. housing market is an ever-changing landscape. There are numerous factors contributing to these changes. From economic conditions to demographic trends, and on top of that, governmental policies intercede to leave their footprint on this sector. Every decision we make drives a certain outcome. The same concept applies to the housing market. Government policies will have various effects according to their intention and design, which impacts the housing market, subsequently resulting in fluctuating property values. Among the most inflecting factors for the U.S. housing market, the economic condition reserves a leading position. The shifts and changes in the economy have substantial roles in steering the housing market and patterns in different directions. One of the most gripping aspects of the American housing industry to both buyers and sellers is the current interest rates. These rates inevitably have a substantial indirect impact on the real estate market. The fluctuating demand and supply dynamics of the housing market are vital observing when making predictions. A surplus of supply typically leads to lower prices, while a lack of supply often results in price increases. A critical piece of the housing market puzzle is the effect of demographic trends. Variations in demographic patterns can alter the demand for different types of properties and affect their long-term marketability and value. Not in isolation, but regional variations also play a significant part in predicting the U.S. housing market. Awareness of these geographical discrepancies can provide keen insights into the direction the market may be headed. The U.S. housing market predictions are a puzzle, and all these factors, economic conditions, interest rates, demographic trends, supply and demand, regional variations, and government policies, are the pieces. Each has to be examined, understood, and analyzed to create a comprehensive picture of what could be expected. The dynamic and frequently changing nature of the U.S. housing market signifies that predictions are a challenging task. Many moving parts intermingle to drive the market, making it a fluid entity sensitive to external and internal influences. One might say that the U.S. housing market does not exist in a vacuum but rather in a broader interconnected economic ecosystem. The ripple effects from economic fluctuations can lead to housing market instabilities, making forecasts more intricate. Demolishing the conception of a unified national housing market and replacing it with interconnected regional markets further complicates predictions. The interplay between these submarkets leads to divergent trends, adding depth and layers of complexity to the forecasting process. However, despite the complexities, methodologies are available that can assist in making coherent and insightful predictions. Statistical models and data analysis techniques are frequently employed to try and untangle the intricate web of relationships that underpins the housing market. Regression analysis, time series modeling, and machine learning algorithms are some advanced techniques applied in predicting housing market trends. These processes facilitate the interpretation of historical data and assist in forecasting future developments. The predictive algorithms, by learning from past behaviors, look for patterns and trends that might predict future market movements. These technologies, however, are not a diviner's tool. They do not provide certain predictions but rather statistical probabilities based on historical data. Moreover, for predictive modeling to be successful, it greatly relies on the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data fed into the algorithms. A small discrepancy can potentially lead to an incorrect conclusion, reinforcing the old adage of garbage in, garbage out. While tools and models can enlighten the possible future hiccups in the housing market, it's also vital to remember their limitations. These models work under a series of assumptions and cannot account for unexpected key events or changes, commonly known as black swan events. A useful concept to be mindful of when making predictions is the concept of forecast horizon. This is the time for which a prediction is to be made. The nature of the market is such that predictions tend to get accurate as the forecast horizon shrinks. While technology plays an indispensable role in predicting housing market trends, it's essential not to lose sight of the human intuition and judgment. Personal contact, local knowledge, and a good sense of the market can often foresee shifts that raw data may not. As the U.S. housing market evades definite predictability, risk management strategies are used to shield market participants from undesirable fluctuations. These strategies include diversification, hedging, and seizing opportunities as they appear. The capability to accurately predict housing price trends holds significant consequences. For vendors, a successful prediction can save losses, while for buyers, it can be an opportunity to capitalize and maximize their ROI. Housing market predictions are also of monumental importance to policymakers. They use these predictions not only for shaping policy directions but also to regulate or stabilize the market against boom and bust cycles. Recently, urban-to-suburban shifts and transformations brought about by the global pandemic have also affected the predictions in the U.S. housing market. These moving patterns further amplified the magnitude of considering demographic trends and locational variations in forecasting. While we have discussed the critical factors which impact the U.S. housing market predictions, keep in mind that predictions are not certainties. With prudent analysis and the right tools, we can increase our probability of predicting the direction in which the market might trend. But while we crunch and analyze datasets, apply models, and generate predictions, it's important to remember the fundamental factors that underpin the value of housing. The need for shelter and an underlying demand for housing will remain constants even as the market dynamics evolve. The U.S. housing market will continue to wield its influence, being both a reflection and a driver of economic changes and societal norms. Its evolution will keep challenging and reshaping our understanding and methodologies for prediction. Our discussion on U.S. housing market predictions aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of the influencing factors, methodologies, and the importance of these predictions in the current economic landscape. It's equally important to acknowledge that any prediction is a dynamic entity, ever evolving and accommodating new trends and insights. Continual review and analysis are necessary to improve the accuracy of predictions and support informed decisions about the U.S. housing market. Despite the uncertainties and unknowns created by numerous factors, the U.S. housing market predictions continue to shape the market direction. It is a balancing act played out in the whirlwind of changing conditions, unknown outcomes, and strategic decisions. Predictions are like peering into a crystal ball. They're not perfect, but they offer a lens through which we can observe potential futures. And in a constantly evolving market, having a clear vision of what could be ahead is crucial for all participants. Let's not forget that predictions can never be faultless, and a degree of uncertainty will always remain. However, learning lessons from history, recognizing patterns and employing advanced methodologies can provide approximate directions and probable scenarios in the labyrinth of the housing market. It must be remembered that no prediction model can factor in with absolute precision the unpredictable human behavior or the potential for a game-changing event. The capacity for rapid and unexpected market shifts is one of the reasons the housing market continues to be so intriguing and challenging. The winds of change are continuously impacting the housing market landscape. A whirlwind of influences impacting trends from economic changes to changes in population size or demographics, interest rates, availability of credit, impacting demand, and possibly the most pondered upon, impact of the pandemic. The U.S. housing market stands in the midst of a transformative phase, riding the waves of unprecedented experiences and unforeseen devastation due to the pandemic. The lingering effects, albeit their unpredictability, are likely to persist within the housing sector in the future. Navigating the realm of U.S. housing market predictions in such uncertain times necessitate a careful understanding of the intricacies associated with the market. Predicting the direction of the tide and cautioning against potential dangers are indeed a Herculean task, but one that is as important as it is challenging. As we venture into this simultaneity of excitement and challenge, remember, an economy lifting, interest rates swinging, changing demographics, supply and demand dance, regional variations perform, and government policies choreograph. But in the end, in this grand ballet, a symphony of predictive analytics orchestrates our passage. Until next, happy upcoming in the U.S. housing landscape, the labyrinth of our collective dreams and aspirations.